LeBron is so easy to play. He's so fucking easy to play. He don't have any moves.
You can't hand check. You can't contest shots.
But now it's more like, I don't want to watch the players coming down shooting 50-footers. That's not basketball. I mean,
you get close to the basket, a lot more of your shots will go in.
These are 6 NBA legends who've watched today's game turn into something unrecognizable. And they're finally saying what every real basketball fan has been thinking for years. Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and Kevin Garnett combined for 21 championships, playing a style of basketball that no longer exists. And their criticism of the modern NBA isn't just nostalgic complaining, it's a warning about how far the league has fallen. October 2025 brought something rare. Michael Jordan sitting down for an actual interview. NBC's Mike Tirico got him for MJ Insights to Excellence. And when load management came up, Jordan delivered a statement that should haunt every modern player.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. The fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy, right? So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
The greatest player in basketball history felt an obligation to the person in the cheapest seat in the arena, which defines the gap between his generation and today's stars better than any statistic could. Showing up every night wasn't optional for Jordan, it was the job. And that mindset is extinct in the modern NBA. 9 different times Jordan played all 82 games in a season, appearing in 80 or more games in 11 of his 14 seasons total. Last season, only 11 players in the entire league reached 82 games, which means the participation rate has collapsed because today's players treat showing up as optional rather than mandatory. But here's the thing, Jordan didn't just criticize the behavior. He identified why today's players lack hunger in the first place. When Tirico asked about modern player mentality, Jordan explained it simply.
With that mindset to achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have. Simple as that. I mean, if you don't have, you are willing to do whatever to have.
Players today are getting $200 million contracts before they've won a playoff series, before they've developed complete games, before they've proven they can handle adversity. Money comes first, and motivation never develops, which means they're comfortable before they're great. And comfort kills excellence every single time. Jordan came into the league making less than $1 million per year, lost to the Pistons repeatedly in the playoffs, and used that pain as fuel to get better. His first championship came at age 28 after years of failure taught him what it took to win. Today's players get max contracts at 22 and wonder why veterans question their commitment. Game 5 of the 1997 finals tells you everything about Jordan's approach. Food poisoning hit him so hard he could barely stand during timeouts, and 38 points later, the Bulls had another win. That's the standard he set, and it's a standard today's players can't comprehend, let alone meet. If Jordan is disappointed in modern basketball, Shaquille O'Neal is absolutely furious. And unlike most retired players who stay diplomatic, Shaq doesn't care who gets offended by the truth he's telling. 23.7 points per game for his career while getting grabbed, held, and fouled harder than any player in modern NBA history is what Shaq averaged, while winning 4 championships and destroying his body in the process. Teams literally created Hack-a-Shaq just to slow him down, which means he experienced physicality that today's players can't even imagine. March 2021 on The Dan Patrick Show introduced a phrase that perfectly captures modern players when Shaq explained why they can't handle constructive criticism from legends.
A lot of people take flack. When I take flack, a lot of people right now, oh, you're too hard on the youngsters. Well, I'm just doing what was done to me. I can remember when I was averaging 30, 35 in LA, but we'd always get swept. And the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said, hey, he hasn't won a championship yet. Did I whine? Did I cry? Did I complain on social media? Nope, I didn't say anything because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had G14 classification to say that. What am I going to do? So these guys now, they're pudding pops. You say something about them, oh, church. That's what they are. So when he said that, when he gave me constructive criticism, I took it and I listened and I brought my game to another level.
Pudding pops, soft, sweet, melts under pressure. That's today's NBA, according to someone who knows what real toughness looks like. The point about Kareem matters because when one of the greatest players ever told Shaq he needed to improve, Shaq went to work. No tweets about haters, no dismissing the criticism, just acceptance and improvement. Today's players hear identical criticism from legends with identical credentials and immediately play victim on social media, which means the cycle continues with no improvement because nobody is willing to accept they need to get better. April 2025 brought Shaq's most devastating criticism on his big podcast when he addressed the overall quality of today's NBA product.
You know, people say Charles and I, we're ruining the game talking about the product because the product is show me greatness. Like, y'all pay a lot of money for these shoes, and I want to see be great. And I'm going to always stay on them and motivate them to be great. They can call it hate I want, but I ain't sucking these out just because they're making $400 million. A lot of these can't play, and they know it.
That's the truth nobody wants to admit. The product is bad, games are boring, defense has disappeared, and every team runs the same strategy of launching threes regardless of personnel. Ratings are declining because fans are tuning out, and the people running the league won't acknowledge the problem exists. Charles Barkley delivers the most entertaining criticism of modern basketball because he's funny, honest, and completely correct about everything he says, which makes his takes impossible to dismiss as bitter old head complaints. February 11th, 2015 on Inside the NBA brought Barkley's legendary anti-analytics rant that's been viewed millions of times because it perfectly captures why spreadsheet basketball has ruined the game.
And analytics don't work at all. They're just a crap to some people who were really smart, made up to try to get in the game because they had no talent. Because they had no talent to be able to play.
I agree with you on that,
So smart guys wanted to fit in. So they made up a term called analytics. Analytics don't work. What analytics did the Miami Heat have? What analytics did the Chicago Bulls have? All these guys who run these organizations who talk about analytics, they have one thing in common. They're a bunch of guys who ain't never played the game, and they never got the girls in high school, and they just want to get into the game.
The line about never getting girls in high school made analytics supporters lose their minds. But Barkley is absolutely right. People who've never played basketball at a high level now run teams, and they think formulas can replace understanding how the game actually works, which has led to unwatchable basketball, where teams launch combined 140 points by shooting threes all game. 26.6% is what Barkley shot from three for his career, the worst among players with over 1,000 attempts, which makes the irony of his criticism obvious, but that's exactly his point. He knew he couldn't shoot threes, so he didn't shoot them, while today's players lack that self-awareness completely. Role players shooting 30% from three launch 8 attempts per game because analytics says it's efficient, but missing 7 of 8 isn't efficient. It's terrible basketball disguised as smart strategy.
Couldn't believe that an NBA player could make $1 million. And now these guys are so lucky and blessed, and they can't play basketball 3 or 4 days a week.
A joke and a disgrace is what load management has become. Players making $50 million who can't play 2 games in a row, stars sitting out while fans who saved for tickets watch them sit on the bench in street clothes. Barkley played through injuries that would shut down modern players for months, battled bigger centers every night, crashed the boards with reckless abandon, and never once thought about sitting out because he was sore. Steel workers show up tired for harder jobs with less money, because that's what work means, while NBA players play a game for generational wealth and act like playing 4 days a week is too much to ask. Dennis Rodman doesn't do many interviews, but when he does, he delivers truth bombs that make LeBron fans absolutely furious, and his assessment of how LeBron would fare in the 90s is the most controversial take in NBA history. June 2013 on The Dan Patrick Show brought Rodman's most famous criticism when asked about LeBron compared to players from his era.
Well, it's really not a comparison. I'm just saying, if LeBron was playing in the 90s, he was just an average player. I mean, but to do what Michael has done, I mean, dude, seriously, Michael did what he did. It was more charisma. It was more articulate and stuff like that. LeBron is more like, boom, okay? There ain't no flash to his game.
Average. Dennis Rodman called LeBron James an average player if he played in the 90s. Not good, not all-star caliber, just average among that competition. LeBron fans dismissed this as jealousy, but Rodman was making a specific point about physicality and skill that most people missed. Hand-checking was legal in the 90s. Hard fouls were expected. The Jordan rules meant getting destroyed physically every drive to the basket. LeBron is bigger and stronger than most players guarding him in today's soft NBA, barrels to the basket and gets foul calls on minimal contact, while defenders can't hand-check him or body him on drives.
You know, no one could lock up LeBron and me and Mike and Scottie could.
Scottie Pippen would have locked up LeBron.
Yeah, I could lock his ass up. LeBron is so easy to play. He's so fucking easy to play. He don't have any moves. Sit and turn on to it. All the move he has is straight down on the king. What do you think? They ain't got no moves. Where's he going at?
The lie detector reportedly indicated Rodman was lying when he said this, which became the story. But the point isn't whether Rodman personally could lock down LeBron. Defensive schemes, physical play, and mental warfare that defined the 90s would have neutralized LeBron's greatest advantages, which are built on being bigger and stronger than opponents who can't touch him due to modern officiating. 2021 on the Full Send podcast captured why Rodman stopped watching basketball entirely.
But now it's more like, I don't want to watch players coming down shooting 50-footers. That's not basketball. I mean,
everything that made the game competitive and physical has been legislated away, leaving a shooting contest with no defense and no intensity. Scottie Pippen has become controversial for his takes on Michael Jordan, but his criticism of modern basketball remains valid and important, particularly around how load management disrespects the fans who make the league possible. January 2025 on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David brought Pippen's most coherent criticism of today's game.
Fans are students of the game as well. They're not just fans, they know the game. And so you seeing players over there that you worked hard all week to earn money and to bring your family out for a family evening, and now they got sitting over there in sweats. That's not even a team uniform. And it's like, really? Is this what I save my $800 for?
$800 for a family of 4 to watch stars sit on the bench in street clothes is robbery, and Pippen knows it because he gave fans everything every single night, despite playing through injuries that would sideline today's stars for months. Defending the best perimeter players in basketball every night, doing all the dirty work that doesn't show up in stat sheets, never once thinking about load management, because that concept didn't exist in his era. The same podcast brought Pippen's explanation of how three-point shooting destroyed team basketball.
I definitely feel like the three-point shot has turned fans away from the game because it's just no teamwork in shooting a three-point shot. There's no teamwork in coming down and taking a shot from behind the three-point line. But there's teamwork in coming down and executing a play.
Ball movement and offensive execution that made basketball beautiful has been eliminated by the three-point revolution, and now teams just spread the floor and launch threes, which Pippen sees as regression despite what analytics claims about efficiency. Kevin Garnett occasionally defends modern players, but when he criticizes today's NBA, his assessments are absolutely devastating, and his response to Anthony Edwards claiming 90s players lacked skill became one of the most viral moments of 2024. August 2024 on his Ticket and the Truth podcast brought Garnett's destruction of that premise.
If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. If I'm being 100, and this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back. And then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago.
Straight up.
50% of current NBA players wouldn't have even made a roster in Garnett's era, according to the man who lived it, which isn't a hot take for clicks, but is genuine assessment of the talent and toughness gap between generations. Hand-checking, hard fouls, defensive intensity that bordered on assault were standard, and you couldn't travel your way to step-back threes or flop to the free throw line like today. October 19, 2024 brought Garnett's specific criticism of Joel Embiid that captured everything wrong with modern players.
What do you think is a good number of games he played?
82 games, man. This is what the fucking job calls for. You're not practicing. You're not even playing a whole fucking, you don't play in the summer?
Right.
I can see if you playing in the summer, you on the playground, you went to the Olympics, then it's training camp, y'all do 30 days of fucking tour days. Okay, that's when you get rest. Man, I don't want to hear this shit, man. I don't want to hear none of this shit.
Back-to-backs account for roughly 15 games per season, and Embiid announces he won't play those before the season starts, which combined with random rest games and load management means he's playing 50 games when he should play 82. Garnett played 82 games 4 times in his career, appearing in at least 71 games in 12 of his first 13 seasons, while playing with intensity that wore down his body. February 2017 on NBA TV with Kevin McHale brought Garnett's explanation of how AAU basketball destroyed fundamentals.
Our league now is at a point where you have to teach more than anything. AAU has killed our league. Yeah. Seriously, I hate to even say this, but it's real. AAU has killed our league from the perspective that these kids are not being taught anything. They have intentions and they want things, but the way they see it is not how our league works. No. You earn everything in this league. You're not entitled to anything. No. And it's more entitlement than anything.
Entitlement defines modern players who think they deserve success without earning it, deserve respect without proving themselves, deserve rest without first competing. And AAU basketball created this by catering to stars and never teaching fundamentals or team concepts that real basketball requires. The truth nobody wants to hear. 21 championships combined, 6 Hall of Famers, 6 men who defined basketball excellence across multiple generations, and they all agree on one thing. Today's NBA is fundamentally broken. Load management turned competitive sport into part-time work, where millionaires decide when they feel like playing. Three-point shooting eliminated the artistry that made basketball beautiful by turning every game into an identical shooting contest, and super teams destroyed competitive balance while creating a league where half the teams tank and the other half chases stars. AAU basketball produced entitled players who think they deserve success without earning it, who can't handle criticism without playing victim, who lack fundamentals to execute real basketball. These legends played through injuries that would sideline today's stars for months, showed up every night because they understood their obligation to fans who worked hard for tickets, developed complete games instead of relying on one move, built teams instead of forming super teams, and put winning above branding while putting competition above comfort. The modern NBA lost all of that. You can dismiss these legends as bitter old heads if you want, claim they're jealous of modern salaries or stuck in the past, argue the game has evolved beyond what they understand. But here's what you can't do. You can't argue with their results. 21 championships playing basketball the right way, earned without forming super teams, without sitting out back-to-backs, without crying on social media when criticized. Competing at the highest level every single night, because that's what champions do, is what separates them from today's players. The modern NBA being softer, less physical, less competitive, and less entertaining isn't opinion, it's observable fact. Ratings are declining, attendance is dropping, fans are tuning out because the product has become boring and predictable, and whether anyone in today's league has the courage to prove these legends wrong remains the only question worth asking. Based on everything we've seen, the answer is no. today's players don't have the hunger, the toughness, or the mentality required to compete at the level these 6 champions defined, and until someone decides to fix it, the NBA will continue declining while legends who built this league watch it fall apart